Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's having a kick-ass day. I just wanted to go through some numbers with you in a second. But before I do that, I just want to congratulate Doris and Danny Chow for going over $200,000 of income, and also Nanette and Bobby Adlawan for going over $200,000 of income. Whenever you get many successes like that, or whenever you hit milestones, it gives you the confidence to realize, man, I got to stretch and I got to take it to the next level. Primerica is not designed to plateau out, although all of us do it at some point in our career because we all get comfortable, we all chill out a little bit. But our business is designed to go faster, bigger, stronger with distribution. So I challenge you to continue to do that. And so what I want to just do is I just want to introduce Sheldon Baptiste. I pulled up his numbers and I was looking at his numbers and I said, man, this would be an awesome opportunity to get him on the phone with us today. I'm outside of the I apologize. To get him on the phone and get an opportunity to share what he's got going on. His numbers are incredible. Listen to these numbers. 2 by 9,000 personal last month. Got a QBI of 76 in his base shop, which is incredible. 127 recruits in his base, 89,000 of premium in his base shop, 4 licenses, securities, balanced across the board if you look at what he's got going on, which is incredible. But what's really cool, too, is duplication. You know, he's got one RVP, Lovia Lois. She's got, they have 23 by 20,000 of premium is what they did in their base. And then he's got 4 players. He's got a bunch of directs, but he's got 4 players in the base direct that are killing it. One did 45 by 37,000. One did 25 by 10,000. One did 10 by 14,000. One did 45 by 17,000. So not only are they double-digit recruiting and now triple-digit recruiting, but have duplication all their direction doing qualified up production, which is absolutely incredible. Sheldon, are you on with us right now, bud?
I'm on, KO. You got me?
Yeah, I'm going to turn this over to you. I'm going to mute my phone. I want to hear what you got going on. Put your pride and your ego in your pocket, and don't hold back. Let it rip. We want to hear exactly what you're doing. The most important thing, what you're doing, is obviously working. You don't got to tell us that, but you can talk about it. And I spoke to you yesterday. I think it was like, I don't know, 8:45 or 9 o'clock in the morning. You're in the office, and I heard noise in the background. Not only you in the office, but your teammates were in the office too, which is incredible. And it's scary, but it's amazing how many people don't even show up in the office. RVP's leaders, and they show up for their meetings, and then that's about it. So talk about what you got going on and let it rip, buddy.
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity, KO. We appreciate it. And as I go through my talk, if there's anything that you think I'm missing, or if anybody has a question at the end of the call, I'm not sure if we're doing Q&A, but I guess you'll let me know, right? But first of all, I'm excited, man. Like I said, thank you for the opportunity. Shout out to our uplines, right? But man, I'm as you called me yesterday, KO. So funny that when you called me yesterday, right? As me and Chris, we were just having a similar conversation because we went to Curacao last week, and he asked me to put together a similar meeting like this, right? And I just want to start off by talking to all the RVPs. Is what do you want out of Primerica, right? And I think I was talking to my team last night. Is sometimes what we say we want and what we do, right, are 2 different things. What we say we want out of this business, right, and what we do aren't always in alignment, right? So I think that's the first thing you got to get clear about. What do you want out of this business? Do you just want to make 100, 200, 300,000? Do you want to just be able to pay some bills, save some money, take 20, 30 years to get financially independent, or do you want to get rich? Do you want to get stone cold wealthy, right? Do you want to be like the Tony and Shelleys, the Chris A. Chungs, the Keith Ottos, the Ray and Carol Costellos, right? The Glenn and Zio Lees. Like, what do you want out of this business? Because I think once you get clear with that, everything else is going to start aligning, right? And I think you as an RVP, the first thing every single day is you got to understand that you're the thermostat, not the thermometer. So what that means is you set the tone for you set the tone for your base shop, right? So it's up to you to raise the temperature. If your business is not where you want it to be, right, it's not because of your guys. You have to get real clear it's because of you, all right? There could be a personality adjustment that needs to happen. There's some type of adjustment that needs to happen, right? But we can't expect to just keep doing the same things, right, and expect things to change, right? Something has to change, right? I think you got to make a decision that you want to be big, right? We was in Primerica for a long time, and we saw people winning. A lot of people passed us, right? and we just got frustrated, like, yo, I want to get big. I'm tired of going to meetings where nobody knows me. I'm tired of going to meetings where I'm not getting recognized. I'm tired of just being like a fly in the wall, right? I want to get big, right? I want to get to the point where I got to stop introducing myself and people already know who I am even before I walk in the room. Like, we think about Keith Otto and some of the leaders on this call. When they walk in the room, they don't have to introduce themselves. People already know who they are. Why is that? Because they're what? They're big, right? They have big businesses, right? The next thing is you got to get young again, right? Like Keith spoke about, we had some people in the office, right? We have a lot of young people on our team. We have a very young business. Our average age is probably maybe 24 or 25. Now, do we got some people in their 30s, 40s? Yes, right? But we got a lot of young folks in the office, right? And I think one of the things that we're doing, Keith, right, is you spoke about having standards, right? Is we don't teach people to have goals. We teach people to have standards. Because when it comes to your people can miss their goal, but they always hit their standards, right? So everybody in this call, we all have standards. Some of you guys have a standard to do $500,000 in securities a month. Some people have a standard to do a certain amount of premium, or some people have a standard to do a certain amount of recruiting, right? We have a standard that if you're a future RVP, if you don't double digit, that's not okay. If you're a future RVP, if you're not writing 5,000, 10,000 personal or even more than that, then that's not okay, right? So, but guess what? Before it can become a standard, it has to be a goal. But once you hit your goal, you got to learn how to turn your goals into what? Standards, right? So the next thing is, I remember Chris used to say this, right? We have white on rice leadership. Like, we don't leave our teammates alone, but we do it with permission, though, right? We ask them for permission first, right? So what does that mean? So let's say if Keith is in my base shop, right, and he tells me that he wants to be an RVP, I'm going to have a conversation with him and say, Keith, you want to be an RVP? That's great. Here's what it takes, right? I'm going to be on top of you. I'm going to keep you accountable. Is that okay with you, right? And once he says yes, man, he has given me permission to what? To have that white on rice leadership, right? And Keith asked me to talk about my schedule, guys. Here's my schedule. I work every day. Right. Now, I know some people on the call don't work every day. Maybe you're at a different place in your business than me, right? But where I'm at in my business requires me to work every single day, right? This whole work-life balance for me, this is for me, guys. Everybody's in a different position, right? But the whole work-life balance thing for me is not realistic, right? Does that mean I don't spend time with my wife? That's not what it means. Does that mean I don't spend time with my kids? That's not what it means. I spend time with them, right? But I spend time building my business more. Why? Because I want to become financially independent. I want to live an incredible life. So my business requires more of my attention just for right now until it gets to the point where it's big enough, right? And just add your personal life in your schedule. Like, you can still build a business and still have a personal life. I think sometimes we have to choose between building a business and having a personal life. You have to understand your business is what gives you your lifestyle. The lifestyle that you live right now, that came from your business. Don't ever forget how you got that house. Don't ever forget how you got all that money, those mutual funds, right? That came from Primerica, right? So we just add our personal life, right? We're in the office by 9 o'clock every single day, Keith. Like, every single day, Monday through Friday, I have a routine. I'm up at 5, sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning, right? And, I go to the gym sometime. If I don't go to the gym, I'm prep. We do an accountability call at 7 o'clock, right? After the accountability call, I take my son to school, right? After I drop my son off, I'm in the office. That's every single day. Monday through Friday, I'm in the office by 9 o'clock, right? We coach our leaders. We tell our leaders, hey, don't take off mornings, right? The reason why you don't take off mornings is because you need your mornings for momentum, right, to start your day. Have you ever did something like, you ever woke up late, or maybe not woke up late, but, you started your day late, right? You got to the office about 1, 2, 3 o'clock, and you feel like you're so behind, right? See, that's what happens when you take off mornings. So I teach my guys, hey, listen, if you got a doctor's appointment, if you got a dentist appointment, if you got something personal to take care of, don't do that in the morning. Do that around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, after you already did a couple of Zooms. You already got momentum in your day, right? So that right there is very, very important, because our guys would get so much more done in the day if they just got to the office early, or if they just got up earlier and started their day, right? And the reason why I'm in the office every single day by 9 o'clock is because what I realized, for a period of time, guys, you have to be the example. unfortunately, right, people don't care about what you did. They don't care about what you did in 2002. They don't care about what you did in the 90s. They don't care about what you did, right? They care about what you're currently doing, right? So that same story that you're telling your guys, well, I did it, right? Well, I wasn't there to see you do it. So you got to, guess what? You got to do it again for your new team, especially if your business is not where you want it to be, right? So what does that mean, right? That means every single day you got to dress sharp. Like every single day we come to the office, we're in a suit, we're dressed sharp. Why? Because I can't ask my regional leader to dress sharp if I'm not dressed sharp. I can't, if I'm wearing a polo shirt or if I'm wearing jeans, if I'm wearing sneakers in the office, how can I challenge my regional leader or my division leader or my RVP? How can I get them to dress professional if I'm not dressed professional, right? So that's important, right? And one of the things that as RVPs, and I'm just going to be kind of transparent here, we kind of got to get away from that mindset, well, I've been here for a long time. Like, I've been in the business. This starts my 17th year I've been in Primerica. I joined in 2009, so I'm not new, right? And when you've been around for a while, you can kind of get that been there, done that mentality. You could kind of have that, that mindset like, well, I did it already. I was coachable already. It's time for them to do it. Does that make sense? No. You still got to do it because guess what? You're not where you need to be, right? If you was where you need to be, you wouldn't have to do it anymore, right? So guess what? You still got to do it, right? And the perfect example is Chris. I remember Chris always tells us the story of he was in Primerica for a long time, maybe about 10 years, right? Then he got frustrated. Then he went on a 2-year run. Think about it. He went on a 2-year run, not his first 2 years in the business, but after being in the business 10 years, right? So guess what? When are you going to go on your 2-year run, your 3-year run, your 5-year run? Guess what? That might not be your first 5 years of you being in the business. You might be in the business 15 years, 20 years. You might be in the business 30 years. Guess what? You still got a 2-year run in you. You still got a 5-year run in you. It's not over. The game is not over yet. You know what I love about Primerica? Man, this business, you don't retire here. Like LeBron James is 41 years old. He's in the league 23 years. Guess what? As in shape as he is, as well-conditioned as he is, at some point, he's got to retire. And guess what? In Primerica, you never got to retire. Man, you could be on this call. You could be 60 years old, 65 years old, 70 years old. Man, you could go build a big base shop. It doesn't matter because the fundamentals never change, right? I'm fired up right now, man. Guess what, guys, right? Look at this. Every single day, you got to work, and every single day, you got to do two things. You got to work in your business, and you got to work on your business. You got to work in your business to be the example so they can see what example looks like, but you got to work on your business because your business needs systems. Because when you're not present and when you're not around, the systems are what keep your business going, right? So what are some things that we focus on every single day when we're in the office? Man, we have direct conversations with teammates every single day, right? I don't believe in like non-confrontation. I'm a very confrontational leader, right? If I see something is wrong, if I see something is like you're not doing what you got to do, I'm not going to sweep it under the rug. We're not just going to, no. Because why? We got to keep the environment positive, right? If your shirt is untucked, if you're not dressed right, if you're not doing what you got to do, I'm going to check you about it, right? And I think that's important because guess what? We want to create a positive environment with high standards. So that whole, I'm not going to address it. No, it got to get addressed, right? And your teammates respect you more when you address it, right? You got to build relationships with everyone in your base shop. Like, we have relationships with everybody. A lot of time leaders, they only have relationships with the regional leader, or they only, have relationships with their division, right? Dude, I got relationships down to the brand new rep, right? There's reps in my base shop that are districts that they get along better with me than they do with their own upline. Why? Because guess what? When the upline is not doing what he's got to do, I got to be the guy to what? Keep them in the business. Does that make sense? So you got to build relationships with everybody, right? And the next thing is we focus on a daytime environment, right? Like, I don't like we tried the whole Zoom thing, like recruiting people all across the country, California, Minnesota. It just wasn't working. I didn't know how to do it, but I know how to do the office. Like, if I get a lot of people in the office, I know how to make that work, right? So guess what? We said, you know what? We're probably going to recruit a little less people, but we're going to focus on local, right? 80% of our recruits need to be, like we live in Brooklyn, they need to be in the 5 boroughs, right, or Long Island, right? We can't be recruiting people only in, Idaho or all these other places, right? We got to be local, guys, right? And once we started doing that and we started having a bunch of people start showing up, right, man, that's when our business really started to take off, right? And what we coach our guys on is daily activity. So those accountability calls in the morning, you're probably wondering, okay, well, what do you talk about on those calls? We talk about daily activity. We talk about how many new prospects did you get yesterday, right? How many appointments did you book? How many new interviews did you schedule, right? How many quotes did you run? That's a new one, right? Like on the call this morning, right? One of my guys said, I only ran 1 quote yesterday. And I said, how can you run only 1 quote in a day and expect to close? You got to run 5 quotes. You got to run 10 quotes, right? How can you do only 2 interviews in a day and expect to get an IBA? And on top of that, walk around the office with a sad face, be frustrated, and you only do 2 interviews. That's not fair. I got to do 4. Why is it that you got to do 2, right? So those are the things that we talk about on a daily basis, right? The next thing is I don't do paperwork, right? I don't do paperwork. I have an office manager, right, that shows up to my office every day, right, that we pay her. I don't do paperwork. I've had an office manager since I was a brand new RVP, before I even had a ring on my finger, right? Guess what? I didn't do paperwork. If you're an RVP on this call and you want to go build something big, you cannot be getting caught up doing policy change forms, calling platinum, right? Calling the home office. You can't be caught doing that stuff, right? You got all this. What are you doing? You can't be doing that. Listen. How much is it for an assistant? Like $15 an hour, $20 an hour. Trust me. All your time, you need to be focused on hunting. You need to be focused on looking for new business, new recruits. You need to be focused on not processing business, right, but finding new business, right, and training people. That's where all your time and energy needs to be spent, right? Because that money that you think you're saving, I've been there before. You think, well, if I get an office manager, it's going to cost me this, right? And if I do it, no, dude. Guess what? You think you're saving money, but you're actually losing money. You're losing a lot more money than you think you're saving, right? And I said this earlier, I treat everyone like a direct, right? Guys, that's so important, right? You know how many times our teammates, they drop the ball? Like yesterday, I was going through the recruit tracker, right? And I was just following up with brand new recruits. People are not scheduled for class. So-and-so missed the class. They didn't get rescheduled yet. So-and-so finished the class. Their state exam is now booked. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why is this like this? Why is this person not scheduled for class? Why is this, what's happening? And guys, you got to inspect what you expect. Because guess what? Whose business is it? It's your business. It's our business. And guess what? Nobody's going to care about your business the way you do. Nobody's going to care about your business the way you do, guys. And once you start adopting that mentality, all of a sudden, that's where that white on rice leadership comes from, right? And that's where you got to get involved with everything, right? Until it's so big and you can't be involved, right? So every single day you got to recognize people who are doing good in your business. Like every single day, like the guys in my base shop, they said every single day I have a favorite person, right? Man, if you're doing good today, you're my guy. We're going to lunch, we're hanging out, but guess what? Tomorrow, right? If you're not doing what you got to do, you're not my guy anymore, right? Every single day, you got to find a favorite person. You got to be recognizing the studs in your base shop. We got to get better with recognizing people, and not just when they do 10,000 personal, right? I'm talking about we got to get down to the brand newest rep when they book their first appointment, especially when you start just building a daytime environment. You got to learn how to recognize everything, right? Because when people feel special, they want to do more, right? So I talked about local recruiting again. Zoom, when it comes to our meetings, guys, Zoom is only for people who are out of state. Only for people who are out of state. Like if you live local, like if you live in Brooklyn and I catch you on Zoom, man, you better have, if you're not like super sick or if you're not pregnant, dude, I'm putting you in that waiting room real fast, right? Like there's no way. How can you live down the street and you're on Zoom and I got somebody who drove from the Bronx or who drove from Long Island 2 hours and they're in the office? There's no way. But what happens, you know what some of you guys do, right? You let that stuff slide. See, we don't let nothing slide. See, the problem is when you let that stuff slide, guess what? Other people think it's okay, right? Other people, it's okay. You can't let nothing slide, right? Because you give people an inch and they'll try to go a mile. Trust me, right? The next thing is we talk about being number one all the time, all right? Like, we talk about being number one all the time, guys, right? Every single day, all we talk about is being number one, looking at the scoreboard and cheerleading our guys. Hey, you got to become the number one district. And if you don't have a big team yet, right? I remember I heard Art Martinez say this, right? If you don't have a big team yet, how about you go promote a brand new district leader and go help your brand new district leader be number one? Maybe your bake shop won't be number one yet, but you can go promote the number one district. You can go promote the number one division, right? So you got to talk to your people about becoming number one and competing, guys, right? And when you first start building that daytime environment, here's what you got to focus on. Don't focus on getting a lot of people to compete right away. What you want to focus on is you want to focus on just getting a lot of people to show up. And believe it or not, most of them aren't going to do nothing, but that's a good thing. See, you just want people just showing up and coming around. If you think about it, guys, a lot of people on this call, for a majority of us, for a period of time, all we did was just show up and come around. And we just loved the environment. We loved the meetings. We loved how it made us feel. And eventually something clicked. And that's when our business took off, right? But guess what? What if your RVP didn't do a good job at retaining you? What if they didn't do a good job at just keeping you around until it clicked, right? Sometimes what we do, because we want people to be like us so fast, we force them out the business. We push them out the business, right? We got to learn how to have patience with a sense of urgency, right? And the next thing is, guys, 100 new licenses, right, mixed with a daytime environment is a recipe for RVP promotion, right? Everybody in this call, right, we're all great at the business. What you need is you just need 100 new licenses. What if you had 100 new codes, right? And, a bunch of them are in the office in that daytime environment. Man, what would that business look like, right? Almost done, right? Man, the next thing, invest. Guys, we invest in our people. Every single month we do a contest. Like every single month we're doing something. We're either at a fancy dinner. Like I just had a young lady in my base shop. She wrote 10,000 personal for the first time. And we took her to dinner on Saturday. And our dinners, we don't do like cheap dinners. We don't go to Applebee's and not like that. We go to really nice restaurants where we spend money, right? But guys, it's those experiences, right? Those are the things that people remember, right? You got to invest in your business. I'm not saying don't save money. Like we map 40% of our income, right? Shout out to Keith, right? He spoke to us about, we got to save more money. But you got to invest back in your guys. Like shout out to Chris, man. Yo, Chris A-Chung, man, that guy right there is I don't understand him sometimes. Like he took us to Curacao last week, right? Him and us and a few other RVPs. Hey guys, I'm on a meeting. Thank you, right? All right, he took us to Curacao, right, last week. The guy put me and Jeanette on a first-class flight to Curacao. Think about this, right? A first-class flight to Curacao, right? Paid for everything. He said the only rule is you can't pay for something. I'm like, wow, that's amazing, right? And this is why we fight so hard for our leader, because we know it's hard. Does that make sense? See, people don't care how much you know, right, until they know how much you care. You got to invest in your guys. And don't have that mindset, well, my upline didn't do that for me. Well, guess what? That's okay, right? That's okay. But guess what? That doesn't mean you can't do it for the next person, right? So coachability, right? Like the reason why my guys are so coachable is because they see the way I'm coachable to Chris. I call Chris almost every single day. Sometimes he picks up, sometimes he doesn't pick up. That's okay. But I'm so coachable to him because I know, man, if they see my example of me being coachable to him, man, they're going to be coachable to me, right? And it's okay when everyone is in alignment. It's okay when everyone is coachable. Can I tell you something? You can still build a huge hierarchy even though all your leaders aren't coachable. You're never going to have 100% ratio where everybody listens to you. Everybody's coachable. You just got to get big enough to where, guess what? A certain amount listen and you're going to get big, right? And you just need a few good men, right? You need a few good people, right? And the next thing is, man, this is tough. You got to learn how to take nothing personal. Ooh, this is a big one right now. This is a big one right here. I know I'm touching it. You got to learn how to take nothing personal, right? So what does that mean? When you get in a fight with your guy, right, or when you get in an argument with your guy, right, guess what? The next day or the same day, later on that day, man, you guys are talking like it's nothing. You know how many times I've gotten into confrontations with leaders, right? And I'll just speak to them like we never had a fight. You got to learn how to get amnesia every single day. Every single day. Like Keith and Chris, man, these guys have mastered this, right? I don't seem like Chris deal with some stuff, and I'd be like, yo, Chris, I don't know how you do it, bro, but if that was me, I don't know if I would be able to say hi to that person anymore, right? But he said, that's why you don't make what I make. And I said, damn, that's crazy, right? So I had to learn that, right? It's that you can't take anything personal. Sometimes people don't know what they're doing, guys. Their level of awareness is not as high as yours. So you got to learn how to give people grace, right? Learn how to, that don't mean you take disrespect, right? But however, you got to learn how to, turn the other cheek sometime, right? And I'm going to finish up with this, right? Chris put something together. He said, what's the job of an RVP? So if you're what an RVP job is every day, the first thing is you got to sell the dream. Every single day, you got to sell the dream. You got to talk to your guys about, here, what's it going to be like? What's it going to be like when you're making $10,000 a month? What's it going to be like when you're making $20,000 a month? What car are you going to drive? I heard Joe Enser say, how long is your one-on-one interview? Your one-on-one interview doesn't stop until you become an SNSD. Like Chris is still doing my one-on-one interview. He's still selling me the dream. Keith Otto is still doing a bunch of you guys one-on-one interview. He's still doing our one-on-one. He's still selling us the dream. Selling the dream never, ever stops. You got to always keep selling the dream, right? The next thing is you got to promote the RVP contract every single day. Every meeting, every time you talk to your guy, you got to talk about the RVP contract, right? The next thing is you got to be a recognition expert. We spoke about that earlier, right? You got to get great at recognizing people. And when I say recognizing people, it doesn't have to be something expensive, right? But just find something to recognize them with, right? The next thing is you got to lead the excitement, right? You got to lead the excitement. Stop waiting for someone else to get excited. You got to be excited. You can't be this dry, I've been here 20 years later. Come on. Like, I've been here 17 years later. I'm still excited, right? You got to cheerlead events, right? You got to be a great example of success. You got to lead from the front, instigate the direction, instill belief and confidence in your people. You got to coach people, tell and show what to do. You got to keep leaders focused. You got to train and retain. You got to eliminate excuses. And lastly, you got to inspire your team. So, Keith, that's what I got for you, right? If there's any questions, I'm open to questions. Thank you.
First of all, dude, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, Coach.
That was absolutely incredible. I don't think we've had some great thoughts on there, but I don't think we've had a better fundamental A to Z on what it takes and what you need, not want to do, but need to do to build a base, to build a hierarchy, to stay on it. I mean, unbelievable, dude. I'm going to take that recording and we're going to pass that on to all the RVPs. Let me tell you one of the reasons we do this conference call. There's a lot of reasons we do this conference call, but the number one reason we do this conference call is for you to duplicate what we're doing with your guys. And most important, it gives you some tools and some ammunition because we're in our business. If I was sitting listening to this call right now, I would copy that word for word, or I'd take the notes and the fundamentals and the points and the topics that he talked about, and I would duplicate that with my leaders that are full-time on my Monday Managers meeting. That was absolutely unbelievable, dude. It's why you're leading that hierarchy right now. And I look at 5 solid kick-ass directs, qualified up production, and you made $41,000 last month. You turn it into 10 directs, you're $1 million income earner. I think you'll be the first $1 million income earner in that hierarchy if you don't let up, buddy. So let me turn this over. Any questions that we have? Anybody have any questions for Sheldon while we have him on? Any questions, just hit *6 and unmute yourself.
Hey, Keith Otto, this is Roy Lipson.
Hey, Roy, what's up, buddy?
I don't have any questions for Sheldon. I just want to tell him, and I know after listening to him, my future is secure. That was absolutely unbelievable. That was so strong. It's like you said, I can't wait to get that recording. Thank you.
Hey, Keith, I have a question for Sheldon.
Who's this?
This is Grace Kim.
Hey, Grace, how you doing? I didn't recognize your voice.
Good.
I'm outside. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sheldon, man, that was very timely for us. I want to thank you, man. We feel the passion through the phone, so really thank you on that. I guess really it's more of a practical question. I see that you have a really excited, passionate environment. If I were a new direct to you, what is the exact first and second thing that you would do with me as your new direct? And what, as far as in terms of warm market, if I have any objections, how do you overcome that?
Okay. First of all, thank you, Grace. And so if you're a new direct to me, if you just got started today, the first thing I'm doing is obviously getting you set up with for your classes. But we're doing orientation the same day, right? So I recruit you. We'll do orientation the same day. And the goal is to get you to do 3x3 within a few days, right? I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to ask you, hey, Grace, are you competitive, right? If you tell me, yes, I'm competitive, okay, awesome, right? So the average person takes to go to district in a week, but I think you can hit it in 3 days, right? Here's what we got to do, and I'm just going to, run through, the importance of the top 25 list, why we need to put together a list, right? That whole spiel. And, we're just going to start banging out phone calls and start making calls. And every single day we're going to talk. Every single day we're going to talk from that point going forward, right? See, I don't let a day pass by where I don't talk to a teammate, especially if they're new. They're like a baby. It's like you wouldn't leave a brand new baby unattended. We shouldn't leave recruits unattended as well. So that's really it. And just, getting you to come to the office and just getting you to, plug into all the Zoom calls and just stay in the environment. I'm introducing you to everyone in the environment as well, because sometimes, especially you're a woman, you might not be able to relate to me, but you might be able to relate to maybe another woman on the team, right? And when I'm calling you and you try to ghost me and I can't reach you, I'm going to ask, let's say somebody else, hey, can you remember that direct I hired the other day? You mind just giving her a buzz, right? And you get a call from so-and-so, and all of a sudden you're back in, right? So, that's kind of like our process is we just want to get you up to a fast start, get you seeing, results right away. Just same thing that you're probably doing, right? But, we're just doing it with, a little, I guess, just more intensity.
Quick follow-up question. For the phone calls with the new rep, do you predominantly run the calls with them together on the spot? Do you have them call or do you call?
No, I call. I like to call because I like to control the conversation, and I like to make the calls with them. Now, for any reason, if they're not, let's say we made a couple phone calls and nobody picked up, right? And, I have a copy of the list and they have a copy of the list, right? And I'm letting them know, hey, listen, do me a favor. I want you to send a text to these people that you gave me, right? And I want you to give them a heads up that, somebody's going to call them. And basically it's like a script that we have. So that way, even if the recruiter's not with me, right, I can still make the calls off their list. And the people on the list are expecting someone to call them, right? So, and whenever I set up the appointments, right, I try to find out your schedule when you're available, right? And but however, if I book an appointment at a time that you're not available for, I'll let you know about it, right? And I'll try to record the call up to the part where we, I won't record any personal information like the application, but I'll record the presentation and I'll send you a recording of it, right? So that way you can feel like you was on the call and you can learn something, right? And but I'll let them know, hey, listen, if we recruit somebody for you, if we do a life app, you're going to get credit for everything. And I want you to be on the call, but if your schedule doesn't allow it, right, then you'll still get all the credit and, everything you're supposed to get.
Freaking awesome. Thank you
Sheldon,
so much.
That was a great question. Great. Hey, Sheldon, do me a favor, buddy. Take 1 minute, 2 minutes, and go through what you do when you call. So if you're calling Grace, go ahead, say that.
Okay, you said if I'm calling Grace?
Yeah, if she's the referral.
Okay, like a field training appointment, is that right? Okay,
exactly,
good.
Just like we were talking about. Yeah.
Okay, good, no problem. So let's say, hi, good afternoon, Grace.
Hi.
Good afternoon, may I please see the Grace? All right, cool.
Yes, this is she.
So, all right, great. Hi, Grace. How you doing? This is Sheldon. I was giving you a call in reference to Keith Otto. You know Keith, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, awesome. Yes, I would just give you a call because Keith just got started working with me in my business, right? It's a financial company, and he's in the process of getting a financial license with the state of New York. Unfortunately, Keith doesn't have much experience in this field, so he just has to see a few presentations on a Zoom call so he can learn how to do it on his own, right? And he mentioned that you and him were very close, and you wouldn't mind just listening to a presentation for about 15 to 20 minutes, as long as it doesn't take too long, right? So I wanted to know, would this evening be good for you to hop on a Zoom, Grace, or would tomorrow evening be better? Which one?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow we could either do 6 or 8. What time is better for you?
6.
6? All right, perfect. So I'll send you the Zoom link, right? Keith will be on as well, right? Like I said, it's only going to be 15 to 20 minutes, so it won't take much of your time. So I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for helping him out, okay?
Sounds good.
That's it. So that's pretty much it, Keith. So I'll just let them know
awesome,
that.
Buddy. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome, man. Who's he playing with? Isn't Joel
Yep.
out already? Or... Anybody else have a question for him?
KO
This
is
is
JP.
Matthew. You have a question?
Who was that?
Matthew Shars.
Hold on. Someone else spoke before you did, Matthew. Who's that?
Yeah, KO is JP.
JP. Okay. John Piccone. What's up, buddy? And then Matthew, you're next.
Sheldon, great job, brother. Great job, man. Thank you for all you do. Sheldon, what kind of, the process, I know you the hierarchy, right? And you guys especially, you're bringing people into the office. What do you do with people that are like spare time, part-time, bringing them into the office, like during odd hours, on non-training days and non-training nights?
Okay, great question, John. So what I'm doing during that time is we're teaching them how to make phone calls. We're teaching them how to make phone calls, and we're also doing social media, right? So we're teaching them how to make phone calls. We're teaching them social media. If they don't know how to, let's say they don't know how to do a live ad, we'll teach them how to do a practice application or how to do an IDA. But for the most part is we're teaching them how to make phone calls, and we're just helping them create activity, right? So whether it's prospecting online or just calling their warm market list, right? And that's pretty much like we have a lady this morning. She's not able to make it to the office on any training nights, but she came to the office this morning to make phone calls, right? So that's what we do with them basically. I'm not sure if there was a more specific question that you had.
That's great information. Because the impairments with everything is also, is beats the virtual, like you said. It's just, making adjustments and having people do that. Thanks a lot, brother.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, Keith. Just to follow up on that, right? You're going to have different type of people in your business, but you want a business that can accommodate everybody, right? So you're going to have the full-timers, the guys who are in the office all day, right? But you're also going to have your part-timers where maybe if they work in the evening, they could come to the office in the morning. If they work in the morning, but they get off work at 4 or 5, they could come to the office in the evening. So you just want a business that can accommodate everybody, and that's why it's important to have a schedule for all your recruits. They all need a schedule of when they could come to the office, when they can meet with you, right? So that way everyone feels accommodated and included.
Thanks a lot, brother. Much appreciated.
You're welcome. Great question. Phenomenal answer also. But one of the things that, you mentioned too is the part-timers. So you're going to have a ton of people. You're going to have a ton of people doing a little and a few doing a lot, which is what the full-timers are. And so if you look at the company, it builds it with part-timers, right? So great message, great answer on that. What do you mention social media? Take a minute and go through that.
Okay, so on social media, I have guys on my team who are a lot better than me with that stuff, but basically what they're doing every single day, they go live. They go live on social media, especially with TikTok. The algorithm, it used to be Instagram, but the hot thing now is TikTok from what I'm seeing, right? And, they're going live every single day on TikTok. They're sending out DMs, they're sending out messages, and they're just making videos, right, and just promoting their business basically, right? And if you do it every single day and you get creative with it, you can attract a lot of people, right? And that's pretty much what they're doing with that, Keith, right? I'm not the best when it comes to it, right? But I have guys on my team who are a lot better. But from what I'm seeing, that's what they're doing. They're going live, and they're just talking about just business. They don't mention anything about Primerica. They're just talking about business and why you need to own your own business. And a lot of people are just kind of like feeding into it. And if you're consistent with it, you build a following, you build a brand, right? And all of a sudden you have people just coming to you, and yeah, it kind of just works like that. It's the weirdest thing.
Got it. So they're building a brand, they're doing a commercial, they're selling the vision of what they're doing, and they're just prospecting through that. Awesome. Okay, one last question, guys. Matthew?
Yes. So great job, Sheldon, man. Just spot on. The question I had is slightly similar to Grace, but what are your standard for the brand newest person when it comes to more like double-digit recruiting? Like, do you push them to do that, or just more 3x3?
Are you talking about like after the license or before the license? Which one?
Before, like when you bring in a new direct, before their license.
I think it all depends. I think you got to feel people out. Does that make sense? Because sometimes you might challenge somebody, right, who's not up for the challenge, right? So this is where, the star system, right, and, your people skills come into, play, right? But we just really just focus on getting people to district. All we talk to them about is district. Now, but if we see somebody who has credibility, they're competitive, they have a good market, right? I'm not just talking to you about going to district. I'm talking to you about double-digit recruiting your first month in the business, right? I'm talking to you about, hey, I think we can get a double promotion. I think you can go district, and I think you might be able to go division right away, right? So it's I think you just got to feel the person out, and based on the person's personality, you can kind of know who you can push and who you can just like, you know what? I'm just excited to get anything out of you. Does that make sense? Right? So, yeah. So I hope that helped out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome, my man. Thank you so much. I'm going to get this out to everybody. Sheldon, thanks for your time today. Look forward to watching you take this to the next level. What's your goal for this month in the base in person?
The goal for the base was 200 by 120. We are way behind. But that was the goal for the month. But we're definitely going to crack over the fourth diamond this month. And we're looking to promote an RVP in the next few months and get that SVP contract by the end of the year. So, personally, we're going to do 30,000 personal because we have to in order to get the fourth diamond. So that's where we at, Coach.
Love it, buddy. Thanks for your time. Let's update those numbers, guys. Have a great day. Let's get some ass and finish up this week's show. Stay well.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.